Hi there, good evening, everybody. I'm just going to go ahead and let people in and then we'll get started. So we'll give folks some time to arrive, having left that other meeting. I'm Principal Beth Harris. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. As I had mentioned, we'll give people time to arrive, okay? So just give me a minute here while we get people entered into our meeting. It'll just take a little bit of time here. So thanks for your patience. Hi, everybody. Again, Principal Harris, just going to let people in here and give them a chance to join our meeting before we get started. Usually we do this event in a big room and everyone sort of floods into the room and you get ready to answer people's questions. Certainly strange to just wait here staring at myself for the people to flood into the room. Thank you for your patience. Hi, everybody. So I think that I can both enter people and share my screen at the same time. We're so much better at Zoom now than we were 6 months ago or 8 months ago when we began our stay-at-home order. So I just wanted to begin by letting you know what our plan is for today. We are going to begin with introductions and quick hello. Then I'm going to go ahead and play for you a virtual tour. Following that, we will have a time for question and answers. So that's our plan for today in this meeting. So bear with me. Hopefully all is well and this will work. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and begin the virtual tour video. And maybe Miss Noel, if you don't mind turning on your camera and giving me a thumbs up, making sure that you can hear this video well. When the video starts. Hi there, I'm Beth Harris, principal here at Poinsettia Elementary School. And each year during Schools of Choice, I love to give tours. But unfortunately this year we can't do that. So I'm gonna make you a video tour instead. Come on, let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna pause just for a second and then stop sharing so I can make sure. Does that sound work?
Yes.
Hear it? Okay, so now I don't want to play for 5 minutes my virtual tour to find out that it wasn't working. So that worked out. Yay. Okay, so here we go. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. Thanks again for your patience. Hi Hi there, I'm Beth Harris, principal here at Poinsettia Elementary School. And each year during Schools of Choice, I love to give tours. But unfortunately this year we can't do that, so I'm gonna make you a video tour instead. Come on, let's go. This big guy is Goliath. He's our school mascot and the place that every student wants to take a picture on the first day of school. We also have our new little lending library located here right outside the cafeteria. Poinsettia's library is out of this world. Kids get to come here weekly and check out books. Right now, it's our Technology Distribution Center and our COVID Care Center. This is our kindergarten playground. We have K1 and K2. It's just begging for students to come and play. During the regular year, this is our main kindergarten drop-off. Parents will park nearby and walk their students to this entrance. Students can be dropped off at 7:45. At Poinsettia, we start with our youngest students at the top of campus. So there's the kindergarten wing I just showed you. And if we pivot to the side, this is our first grade playground. And basically, as we go down through campus, the students will get older and older. So you can see there's our first grade soccer field, and then moving in here to our outdoor learning space, which I'll show you in a little bit. So there's that first grade playground that I had mentioned to you. This wing here is first grade. And then as we go down the wings through our garden there, you can see that there's second grade and then third grade and fourth grade on the other side, which I'll show you later. This is our outdoor learning space. We'll begin with our discovery boxes, where we put fun things for students to discover. Ongoing pile of mulch, where families can help us come and expand our outdoor learning space. Our native plantings that we plan with students to support pollinators, a great space for science learning. We have our amphitheater here, as well as our wood stump circles going into our dry riverbed. That's our covered eating area right there, where students come out to eat snack and lunch. Our wooden fort, and our playground area for 2nd through 5th grade. This outdoor learning space was built right as we went into lockdown this year, and I cannot wait for students to come out here and get a chance to experience it. This outdoor space is the perfect example of what makes Poinsettia amazing. It was a collaboration between many agencies, such as Ventura Fish and Game, the National Wildlife Foundation, and Ventura Education Partnership, which gave us funding through grants, as well as our amazing parent-teacher organization that helped for years to raise the funds in order to implement this space. It's an example of how our community comes together to serve our students. From this spot in the outer playground, you can see the wing that holds our 4th grade students. The bottom parking lot, I always like to say, quick, there's the ocean. It's our beautiful ocean view from this point. And down below is our 5th grade area. Our students are down in their own section. And then we have the on-campus YMCA in that portable building there. Traffic at Poinsettia can be pretty tight. Our kids in grades 1 through 5 drop off in this lower parking lot. Many families choose to park in the nearby neighborhood and walk in, which is a great idea, or even to carpool. We do have our cafeteria open every morning at 7:30 if families or students need to come early. This wing houses 4th grade and 3rd grade. And on the other side is our 2nd grade wing. This is the bottom entrance to campus. It's the entrance that most people use most of the time because it's drop off in the morning and pick up in the afternoon, although the office is at that main entrance I had showed you. This hallway features our sensory path. This path was a collaboration between our occupational therapist, school psychologist, teachers, students, and artist Ymca Hanrahan. It allows students who need a minute to jump outside, do the sensory path that includes activating and calming activities, and return to class ready to learn. You'll find many students out in the hallway doing this process. Sometimes parents do it as they're walking kids in, and the occasional principal does it as well. Room 11 is home to Miss Duval, our third kindergarten teacher. It's the perfect location for our third kindergarten because it is located right here next to the main hall student bathrooms. Although Miss Duval's class happens down here on campus, they do all of their snack and recess up in the regular kindergarten area I had shown you before, which is just up that hallway right there. This is our school cafeteria where students come to get lunch, although they eat at that covered eating area I had shown you. The stage is the home to many of our productions like talent show and other assemblies and fun items. So this is an amazing school cafeteria. And I had mentioned that the school cafeteria opens every morning at 7:30 if students are in need of additional childcare in the morning. While on tour, people often ask me if Poinsettia has a specific thematic focus. We're not a magnet school, so we don't have a specific focus. We are a traditional neighborhood school. Our veteran staff and amazing community make us able to offer students amazing enrichment. So for example, we often have a dance teacher that teaches every student for 10 weeks. We have a kiln located here in this area that we were able to fire student pottery. So we do offer a great deal of enrichment, although we don't have any specific magnet theme. I'm often asked also, why Poinsettia? What makes Poinsettia special? I have to begin with the fact that this community is amazing. We have remarkably supportive families that make sure that our students have great opportunities. In addition to that, we have an incredible veteran staff. The Poinsettia staff, the teachers and the support professionals are incredible. Something that's very special about Poinsettia is that we host a program for students with autism. So we have about 5% of our student population, students who have autism, and they include into the general ed campus as much as possible. Because of this, students will play with students with autism and get to know them in their classes. And I always say that when students graduate 5th grade at Poinsettia, they have an amazing skill set that they would not have at many other schools. The opportunity to understand neurodiversity in addition to many other forms of diversity. And I think it's really special that they're going to be leaders in the world to care for people with all kinds of abilities. In addition to that, we have about as many paraeducators as teachers. So on the playground, there is additional supervision and support to make sure that all students are successful. Thanks for watching our tour today. Man, do I wish having people come on campus. I love being able to answer your questions about this incredible school and show you all that Poinsettia has to offer. I do appreciate your watching until the end, and I hope that you'll call or reach out to us with any questions you might have. All right. Awesome. So I hope that hopefully that gave you a chance to see a little bit what Poinsettia is like and get a chance to see the overview of our school firsthand. And so I wanted to be able to give you a chance to see that since I can't bring you on campus. Oh, wait, okay. Now I wanted to, just that moment. Oh, sorry. Thank you for your patience as I figure out how to go to the next slide. There we go. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, so I had mentioned in the school tour video that we are a school that offers a great deal of enrichment. So in addition to a really great base academics program, we have a wonderful enrichment program. So you can see that's Miss Cassie, who runs a dance camp, for example. One year when she came out and did the final show, a unicorn, rainbow appeared, and it was just a beautiful moment. We also have Lionheart time, which is our time dedicated to social emotional learning. So that's our symbol there, and believe in many things like student leadership that give the students a chance to teach each other about how to live their, be their best. I'm often asked about our kindergarten schedule, since many of you are probably kindergarten parents. And so I wanted to present for you our kindergarten schedule. Kindergarten will begin the school year in August on this minimum day schedule. So as students are building their stamina and getting used to being in school at all, for some of them, so the beginning of the school year until October, they'll go until 11:40, and then we will extend the school day following fall break. So when we basically fall break is usually the last week of October, and so beginning in November, they would extend by an hour, and then they'll go till 12:30 for the remainder of the year, Monday through Thursday, and Friday will always be our minimum day. So that's what our kindergarten schedule looks like. So again, they begin at the beginning of the year with a schedule of 8 a.m. to 11:40, and then they will extend that kindergarten schedule by an hour for the remainder of the year after fall break. That's an often question. So things people bring up. So now I would love to answer any questions you have. And I think that I can allow you to unmute yourself. Oh, wait. So there we go. So feel free if you have questions to unmute yourself, and I will answer those questions for you now. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, so I was curious if you guys would ever go to a full day kindergarten, if that's ever a possibility or not for Poinsettia in the future.
You know what, probably not. So here, this schedule that I'm just showing to you with a 12:40 dismissal, we've actually never implemented. So we voted on that. We used to go until 11:40 the whole school year. For example, last school year, we voted to extend our kindergarten by an hour. And then we went into the distance learning model. So we actually have never gone until 12:40 because the hybrid model also ends for kindergarten at 11. So we've actually never experienced this schedule.
Okay.
We would probably have to live it for at least a year to see how it goes. And this schedule is a schedule that allowed us to be on par with the majority of schools in our district. So most schools in our district for kindergarten go until 12:30-ish after fall break. So that puts us on par with what most schools are doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'll never say never, but yeah. This is a new schedule for us. And sadly, we were so excited to begin this schedule and we haven't had a chance to do so. So hope for that for the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, one other question.
Yeah,
I noticed, I think, does 4-H meet at your school, and do they have a partnership with you guys?
They don't have a partnership with us, but we have had the Loma Vista 4-H, I guess it's the Loma Vista area because that's what they're called, meet on our campus previously. That was our campus was a common site for them. Of course, they haven't met for a long time on our campus, but yeah, they do. I would love to have a partnership because honestly, I'm very passionate about agricultural and outdoor learning and science instruction, you know, in the outdoor space, but it's not something that currently exists.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for asking your questions. What other questions do you have?
I think I'm okay for now.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, well, I will hang out for the next few minutes, and then I will redo the presentation starting at 7. So feel free if you'd like to pop out and check out another school and come back at 7 if you'd like, or I will, like I said, I'll hang out and happily answer any questions you might have. Luckily, my cat hasn't shown up in the video yet. My cat is right here, wants to come and show everyone her face.
I think Kitty should make an appearance.
You know, I'm like, no. Yeah. At one point, I had to shoo my child away too. So
okay.
So strange to do it at home. Although I was saying earlier how nice it is to not have to yell over the room, because when we're all in that same room, it's so loud.
Yes.
You're like yelling at everyone. So
it's pretty cool.
Thanks for popping in.
I just came to spy.
I appreciate
and
it.
Then put me on the spot.
I know.
Right.
Could you give me a thumbs up, please?
You got a new visitor.
Yay. Hi there, welcome. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have. I'm going to begin my second presentation at 7. So I'm happy to have you, if you have any questions, to ask those now.
I was in before and I accidentally left early.
Oh,
So
no.
I was just coming back. So I'm good. I just didn't want to miss anything if I
Oh, okay.
before, but I watched the video and everything. So
Oh,
thank you.
good. Okay, so yeah, basically that's all. I just showed the video. I did talk about the kindergarten schedule. Did you have a chance?
Yes, I saw that. Yes,
Yeah,
perfect.
so that's pretty much it. Unless you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
That's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, of course. So hi, Lindsay. I was just mentioning.
I do have one question, actually. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry if you covered it already, but can you tell me about the extended care?
Yeah, so if what you mean by that is we have a YMCA on campus, and the YMCA is like a private daycare, so it's their own entity, but they do fill up their spots pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that you contact them early if you're interested in using them. They do walk up and pick up the kindergartners for the families. So if we're out at 11:40 or when we're on our extended day, they will walk up with their staff and grab the students. They actually will even walk the students through the cafeteria line if they're eating lunch from the cafeteria, and then they take them down to the YMCA, and they're open. I think 6:30 to 6 p.m. is kind of the hours that they're open. So they have before school care as well as after school care. And for a kindergarten family, that's really helpful because they don't have to go anywhere. Although we do have multiple daycare buses that come to campus. So we have Children's Haven and Tutor Time and Boys and Girls Club. And I'm just trying to think about all the different places that that will come with their Pacific Camps, various other, My Gym has come before. So many of the local daycares will send a bus to pick up students. And what I have found is that's especially true if a group of students from Poinsettia go there. So you might find out that, you know, there's a cohort of students who are going to Children's Haven, for example, and then they would pick up from Poinsettia. But the YMCA is nice because it's right on campus.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yep. So again, I'm going to begin my second presentation right at 7 so that people can have that expectation to join at 7. But if you have questions, and Lindsay, you just joined, or Justin, if either of you have questions, I'm happy to answer those now.
Well, that's great. Would you be able to let me know the kindergarten? I know you just did it, but the kindergarten schedule is, yeah.
I don't mind. Sure. So we begin school at 8. You can drop a kindergarten off in the playground area at 7:45. That's when the teachers are ready to begin supervision. So the class instruction starts at 8. And then from August through the end of October, when fall break starts, the students will go until 11:40. And then we do an extended day after that, following fall break. The first week of November is usually when that starts through the end of the year. That drop off, that schedule time would be then 12:30, basically. So we will begin with a 11:40 for students and then extend by an hour after fall break.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've had a chance to see our Y Poinsettia website. We have on our Facebook page or on our school website, you can get to that promotional page and it lists that schedule. So you can see that in print too.
Perfect.
Hey, I was just saying I missed most of the first presentation, so I'm just going to hang around until you start your second round.
Okay.
I don't have any questions yet because I didn't really hear much.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Justin. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Have fun.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your support always.
Okay, bye.
Miss Noel is our office manager. So. The true boss of Poinsettia, as I say. Hi there and welcome to Jeff. I'm going to go ahead and begin in just a couple more minutes, our second round here with the presentation. If you'll just have patience so we can let anyone else that wants to come in at 7-ish. Hello there. Welcome, Trustee Lomax.
How are you this evening?
I'm very good. Hi, there you go. Yay. We're going to begin in just a few more minutes with the formal presentation, but I was just saying one thing that's nice about doing this from home is I don't have to yell over the room. If you remember, usually
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so loud in that room that it's like being in a club and I'm yelling and I go home with that like, you know, scratchy voice. So
Exactly. And I think it's been very nice. We had really good questions in the overall presentation. Did you have good questions in your first session?
we sure did. Yeah, definitely. Very
Awesome.
good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So it's 7 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just bear with me while I share my screen and get to the right place. I was just saying how much better we are at all of this than we had been previously, right? We're getting very good at Zooming. So hopefully, let's see. One more second, and I will think if I do that. There we go. You can see that. I'll get all in a minute. Okay, so welcome. This is Poinsettia, and I'm the proud principal, Beth Harris. So it's great to meet everyone, see everybody. I'm going to go ahead and go through quick introductions and hellos, and then I'm going to play our virtual tour for you, and then we'll answer questions. So thanks for being here. And I had already mentioned that Trustee Lomax is visiting, so thank you. Always an amazing supporter of Poinsettia, whether it's serving dinner at back to school night or joining us tonight. So thank you for that. So let's begin with our virtual school tour. Hi there, I'm Beth Harris, principal here at Poinsettia Elementary School. And each year during Schools of Choice, I love to give tours. But unfortunately this year we can't do that, so I'm gonna make you a video tour instead. Come on, let's go. This sweet guy is Goliath. He's our school mascot and the place that every student wants to take a picture on the first day of school. We also have our new little lending library located here right outside the cafeteria. Poinsettia's library is out of this world. Kids get to come here weekly and check out books. Right now, it's our Technology Distribution Center and our COVID Care Center. This is our kindergarten playground. We have K1 and K2. It's just begging for students to come and play. During the regular year, this is our main kindergarten drop-off. Parents will park nearby and walk their students to this entrance. Students can be dropped off at 7:45. At Poinsettia, we start with our youngest students at the top of campus. So there's the kindergarten wing I just showed you. And if we pivot to the side, this is our first grade playground. And basically, as we go down through campus, the students will get older and older. So you can see there's our first grade soccer field, and then moving in here to our outdoor learning space, which I'll show you in a little bit. So there's that first grade playground that I had mentioned to you. This wing here is first grade. And then as we go down the wings through our garden there, you can see that there's second grade and then third grade and fourth grade on the other side, which I'll show you later. This is our outdoor learning space. We'll begin with our discovery boxes, where we put fun things for students to discover. Ongoing pile of mulch, where families can help us come and expand our outdoor learning space. Our native plantings that we plan with students to support pollinators, a great space for science learning. We have our amphitheater here, as well as our wood stump circles going into our dry riverbed. That's our covered eating area right there, where students come out to eat snack and lunch. Our wooden fort, and our playground area for 2nd through 5th grade. This outdoor learning space was built right as we went into lockdown this year, and I cannot wait for students to come out here and get a chance to experience it. This outdoor space is the perfect example of what makes Poinsettia amazing. It was a collaboration between many agencies, such as Ventura Fish and Game, the National Wildlife Foundation, and Ventura Education Partnership, which gave us funding through grants, as well as our amazing parent-teacher organization that helped for years to raise the funds in order to implement this space. It's an example of how our community comes together to serve our students. From this spot in the outer playground, you can see the wing that holds our 4th grade students. The bottom parking lot, I always like to say, quick, there's the ocean. It's our beautiful ocean view from this point. And down below is our 5th grade area. Our students are down in their own section. And then we have the on-campus YMCA in that portable building there. Traffic at Poinsettia can be pretty tight. Our kids in grades 1 through 5 drop off in this lower parking lot. Many families choose to park in the nearby neighborhood and walk in, which is a great idea, or even to carpool. We do have our cafeteria open every morning at 7:30 if families or students need to come early. This wing houses 4th grade and 3rd grade. And on the other side is our 2nd grade wing. This is the bottom entrance to campus. It's the entrance that most people use most of the time because it's drop off in the morning and pick up in the afternoon, although the office is at that main entrance I had showed you. This hallway features our sensory path. This path was a collaboration between our occupational therapist, school psychologist, teachers, students, and artist Ymca Hanrahan. It allows students who need a minute to jump outside, do the sensory path that includes activating and calming activities, and return to class ready to learn. You'll find many students out in the hallway doing this process. Sometimes parents do it as they're walking kids in, and the occasional principal does it as well. Room 11 is home to Miss Duvall, our 3rd kindergarten teacher. It's the perfect location for our 3rd kindergarten because it is located right here next to the main hall student bathrooms. Although Miss Duvall's class happens down here on campus, they do all of their snack and recess up in the regular kindergarten area I had shown you before, which is just up that hallway right there. This is our school cafeteria where students come to get lunch, although they eat at that covered eating area I had shown you. The stage is the home to many of our productions like talent show and other assemblies and fun items. So this is an amazing school cafeteria. And I had mentioned that the school cafeteria opens every morning at 7:30 if students are in need of additional childcare in the morning. While on tour, people often ask me if Poinsettia has a specific thematic focus. We're not a magnet school, so we don't have a specific focus. We are a traditional neighborhood school. Our veteran staff and amazing community make us able to offer students amazing enrichment. So for example, we often have a dance teacher that teaches every student for 10 weeks. We have a kiln located here in this area that we are able to fire student pottery. So we do offer a great deal of enrichment, although we don't have any specific magnet theme. I'm often asked also, why Poinsettia? What makes Poinsettia special? I have to begin with the fact that this community is amazing. We have remarkably supportive families that make sure that our students have great opportunities. In addition to that, we have an incredible veteran staff. The Poinsettia staff, the teachers and the support professionals are incredible. Something that's very special about Poinsettia is that we host a program for students with autism. So we have about 5% of our student population, students who have autism, and they include into the general ed campus as much as possible. Because of this, students will play with students with autism and get to know them in their classes. And I always say that when students graduate 5th grade at Poinsettia, they have an amazing skill set that they would not have at many other schools. The opportunity to understand neurodiversity in addition to many other forms of diversity. And I think it's really special that they're going to be leaders in the world to care for people with all kinds of abilities. In addition to that, we have about as many paraeducators as teachers. So on the playground, there is additional supervision and support to make sure that all students are successful. Thanks for watching our tour today. Man, do I wish having people come on campus. I love being able to answer your questions about this incredible school and show you all that Poinsettia has to offer. I do appreciate your watching until the end, and I hope that you'll call or reach out to us with any questions you might have. Okay, so let me just figure out how to think if I do this. I want to pause that. There we go. Okay. So I had mentioned that Poinsettia is a traditional neighborhood school. We have about 40% of our students that come from outside our neighborhood boundary. So Poinsettia is strict boundary. We have students that live nearby in our boundary. Those students make up about 60% of our population, and actually that's growing more and more every year. So in kindergarten we have a 50-50, about 50-50 split. So more and more people coming from all over the place. I like to say that Poinsettia is all of Ventura because we're getting people from all over the place. In fact, even beyond that. So it is a wonderful place and a highly sought after school, certainly. And one of the things I had mentioned to you is our ability to provide enrichment. So you can see there's Cassie from Cassie's dance camp. Once when she was doing her final presentation for parents, a rainbow appeared. It was a beautiful moment. I think very indicative of the great school that is Poinsettia. We dedicate time each week to our lion heart learning. So there's our emblem there, but really what that means is that we have opportunities for students to learn how to care for themselves and for others. That's a dedicated part of what we do at Poinsettia. And then we really use student voices. So you can see there, that's part of our leadership council, and they were running Unity Day, of course, dabbing and being kids. So we have a really powerful and strong student leadership history at Poinsettia. It's actually one of my favorite things that I get to do. Everyone always wants to find out what is the bell schedule. It's a kind of brass tacks question people always have, so I'm going to answer it before you ask. So at Poinsettia, we begin the school year from August through fall break at the end of October with a 8 a.m. beginning time and a 11:40 dismissal. So that's our minimum, what's listed there is our minimum day schedule. Students, while they're still getting used to being on campus and building their stamina, we go until 11:40. And then following fall break, we will extend that time by an hour and students will go until 12:30. So then for the remainder of the year through June, they'll go until 12:30. So that's our bell schedule. School begins at 8. And I had mentioned in the video that drop off for kindergarten would begin at 7:45. So now I will stop sharing and I will ask you what questions you have. I think you can unmute yourself. So you're welcome if you'd like to turn on your camera if you would like to, or just to ask your questions. So what questions can I answer for you tonight? So Jeff asked in the chat, since we have a 12:30 scheduled release time, what after-school programs are offered? So Poinsettia does have the YMCA on campus. It's a private daycare, so you would have to sign up through them. It just happens to be on campus, but they do walk students from kindergarten down to campus each day. So that's a great option, but we have many daycares that come and pick up with their vans: Pacific Camps, My Gym, Children's Haven, Tutor Time. Many other daycares come and pick students up with vans. So that's an option also. It just so happens that the YMCA is on campus, and they are great partners to us, and that is very convenient for families, if that would be of interest to you. The YMCA does fill up very quickly, especially in kindergarten. So if that's a need that you have and an interest that you have, you'd want to make sure that you sign up quickly. So Alicia, Miss Caden, if you would ask your question.
Yeah. Yes, right. Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry, my English is not great. So I have a son, he has speech delay. So do you have any program for the kids like him?
Yeah, so every student has a different set of needs. And so I would say if your student has an individual education plan or an IEP, then their placement would be done via that IEP program. And so what you would do is you would apply for the school that you're most interested in for schools of choice, because you have the right, no matter what program your child might eventually be in, to apply for schools of choice. And then you would basically go to your IEP team and you would say, I am interested in the school I was given a spot at, and the team will decide if that's a good fit, you obviously being a key member of that team. And I would say, depending on the language delay, every school has a speech language pathologist. So students who end up only needing speech, those students can be at any school. Poinsettia is a very special place in that we have a program for students with autism, and some of our students would then qualify as speech delayed. Our students at Poinsettia and our program for students with autism are doing grade level work. That's the really distinguishing factor. But again, you can't get into that program at Poinsettia without going through the IEP process. So that's not a school of choice process. It's an IEP process. Does that answer your question for your child enough?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances in a student that has divergent need, and so I would welcome you to call me and discuss very specifics if you'd be interested. And if your student doesn't currently have an IEP, I would encourage you to go to the Early Intervention Center and see if they might need one. They'll do an assessment for you.
Yes, I would love. I think I will call you next week to talk more specific about it.
Yeah, sure, you're welcome to do that. Yeah,
thank you.
Of course. What other questions can I answer?
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you guys typically still have spots available for the inter-district transfer students, or do you fill up pretty quickly?
If there was ever a year when it's going to be really hard for me to answer that question, it's this year. I used to answer that question after the Thomas fire, especially because that was, basically the burn map was our neighborhood boundary. I would say, I just don't know what it's going to be like when families rebuild and they move home. And so that was true then, and it's way, way true now, that it's very, very hard to predict. We have had years where we get 100 school of choice applications, and we can't take that many. We take about 40-ish students from that are outside of our boundary. So some years we have a giant school of choice applications. Other years we have had some years where we get 15 school of choice applications, and in a year like that, then absolutely we would take intras and definitely inters. I will tell you that this year we have 3 students that we were able to admit via the inter-district process. So it's not impossible. One was a sibling, and we were really rooting for that child to be able to make it through, but we have to exhaust our schools of choice first choice list and second choice list, and then any intras that we currently have pending before we can accept inter-district transfers. So we will fill to capacity. Poinsettia, as I had mentioned, is a highly sought after school. So we will definitely fill to capacity. And if we can take inters as soon as they apply, we will, rather than, and then what might happen is later intras will apply and they won't get in because we will be full at that point. So definitely get your application in as soon as you can. I would suggest going to your home district and getting released as soon as they will release you. They have their own timeline and processes, but definitely do that as soon as you can. There is a question. Does that answer? I'm sorry. Does that answer your question enough?
Yes, it does. Thank
Okay.
you. I'll have to call the district tomorrow because they didn't talk about inter-district at all tonight. So
Oh, I have a.
but that helps.
I used to run the magnet schools programs, have a wealth of knowledge of the process. If you have questions about the process, I'd be happy at the end to answer those for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it just so happens that as I always say, my previous job was was running the promotion for the district, so I can answer those for you happily.
Thank you.
No problem. I actually, many people come on a tour and I sell them on other schools. It's just every school in Ventura is a wonderful school. I'm partial to Poinsettia, but they're all so good. Brenda asked, I missed a part of your video tour. Could you talk about art and music? Yeah, so Ventura Unified has a standardized art and music program where every student has the opportunity to get both art instruction and music instruction. That's a core part of what we do, funded through the parcel tax. So if you know the measures, measure R or measure Q or measure M. So students will have a chance to have music every grade level, and then also a dedicated art teacher every grade level. That's every school. And then Poinsettia happens to be a place where the teachers have a passion for student art and enrichment. So every teacher does neat art projects. We always have an art night, which is a huge deal in our community, where students are able to highlight their art and show off the art that they've created. I mentioned we have a kiln, which is not always really common in elementary school, but like I said, we have a great supportive community that was able to purchase that kiln for us. And so many students work on ceramics and pottery, although it's not an articulated program like you'd see at Montalvo, where, you know, at each grade level, they're learning part of the visual and performing arts standards in an articulated way. It definitely is a core piece of what happens at Poinsettia, that the arts are a big piece of that program. And then every year our PTO sponsors what they call grade level enrichment expenses. And every year it's different. So we had 1 year world music, where students learned about music of the world. We've had dance camp, which we really like because it's PE and music at the same time, and little performance, and kids can you know, grow in their self-confidence. So we've really enjoyed that. Sometimes grade levels will put on a singing show where they learn songs. So there is a great deal of enrichment, but it's not an articulated art and music program aside from what the district offers every elementary school, which is actually very robust. Happy to answer any other questions about that you might have, either in the chat or in voice, Brenda. Yeah.
Ms. Harris, this is Trustee Lomax. I just wanted to thank you. I have to let you all know that are participating that I've known Ms. Harris since she was in high school, and she is one of the best. She is absolutely one of the best. I appreciate your tour. Unfortunately, I have to go take care of some things, but I did appreciate it. And parents, thank you for participating, because like I said earlier, if you were on in the beginning, all kids do not learn the same. And we want to make sure that your child has the best possible experience. So thank you again, and I'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely. Miss Lomax and I actually met when I was growing vegetables in an agricultural program at Buena, where I was a student. So back in the day. That's Ventura, small town Ventura for you. What other questions can I answer, anyone? Well, that's the end of my official presentation, and I will be putting the tour video on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page. So I would welcome you to go there and send your friends there if you have any interest in that, to find out about us. It's so sad to not be able to bring people on campus, because what I usually say is walk on campus, feel the way it feels, and see if your heart and your gut find the right match for you. Because I really do believe that All schools in Ventura are fantastic and have so much to offer, and it's really about finding the right fit for you and for your student, in terms of whether the community is the right one for you. And it's hard to do that without really getting a sense of the campus, which is why I wanted to make that video and see if, as I discuss different things, those things struck a chord for you. I always say it's like you're trying to find the tuning fork where when you ring that, it's the perfect match for you. So I encourage you to connect with us socially on our social media pages. You can scroll through and see the various things that we have done and have done in the past and the things which are important to us. And if those things are a good match for you, then Poinsettia is probably the right fit. So thanks for coming tonight, and I'm happy to stay on to answer any questions you might have. You're welcome. Mr. Harvey, thanks for joining us. I don't have an official third presentation planned, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about Poinsettia.
Hi, I'm just kind of bouncing around. This was my, well, I guess we live right down the hill. My daughter's going to Elmhurst right now. And so I'm just trying to find out, about the school district. We're sort of new.
Oh, okay.
She was attending Ventura Montessori the last several years and
Okay.
aged out, so I had to transfer. I'm wondering, we're not considered like a neighborhood school, are we? We'd have to, if we wanted to transfer, we'd have to do that by the 29th of January. Is that correct?
Yeah. Is your student
Okay.
currently in kindergarten?
No, she's not. She's in 3rd grade.
Okay, so you have a couple of options that are available to you that other people don't. So right now, you could apply for an intra district transfer right now to go to another school. And that would give you a chance to attend this year if you're interested in making a change. Or you could apply for schools of choice to begin in the fall. And the reason that schools of choice is a good choice is that in the fall, that's where we have to begin. We have to begin with schools.
Right.
So any child who's at Poinsettia right now on an intra-district transfer, I'm going to tell them to apply for schools of choice. They do get a priority enrollment because it's continuing education. So they get a priority enrollment. Then they'll basically be bumped to the top of the schools of choice list because they're already enrolled. So there's I guess a bonus or a benefit to doing that. Although I don't know if you're doing distance learning or if you're doing hybrid learning, it's all kind of a little bit muddied by that this year.
Yeah, we're doing distance learning, and so I think we've been to the actual school like 3 or 4 times.
Oh my gosh,
for picture day.
That's a terrible way to introduce
so it's
cool.
And it's kind of sad because I mean, Ventura Montessori was really they were really student oriented as far as small classes. I think she had 6 people in her class last year.
Right,
and it was kind of a big shock. Yeah, she basically they went through 3rd grade, I think, and then the main teacher retired, and so they chose to keep it there rather than expand the program. Doing. So
that's so different. It must be really hard. It's a very different program. I can see how that would be difficult. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know what your experience at Elmhurst has been, but certainly it would be worth if you're willing to stick it out to try it once school opens and you can actually see what the school is like.
Yeah,
we have a number of families that do transfer from Elmhurst to Poinsettia, and I think that's because Poinsettia is very nearby. Right. It's close. It's very simple for a lot of families. Certainly, if you're looking only at test scores, obviously we have a very high performing school. So we have a really high standardized test scores. But that's, that's a very minor part of what makes an entire school. And I really do believe, though Elmhurst test scores wouldn't show that they are a very high quality school and you could get a great education there. It's really a matter of what's the right fit for you. And I would say Poinsettia is a very traditional school, and they have a very veteran staff. And for kids, they are very good at handling divergence because we have a program for students with autism, so they're very used to inclusion. But a child who is not used to a traditional education, sometimes Poinsettia may or may not be the right fit, just because it is a pretty traditional place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Elmhurst is fine. We've had a good experience so far. It's just that it's such a different experience with the whole distance learning situation, so it's really hard to judge.
Absolutely.
Like on school spirit, or
Right.
like personal relations with the teachers or anything like that when you can't really even go to the school. So I mean, hopefully, I mean, will Poinsettia be offering distance learning in the fall as well, or is that some sort of assisted, like
it's still to be determined, really.
Right.
I think that what will happen is, I know that what will happen is, for families who want to continue on distance learning, it will be an option, but it may be housed at the district level instead of at the school level like it is now, if it's only a small program.
Right.
If it is a big program like it is now, then we may end up having that offered at each school. It's just, really probably depends on where we are at with COVID and the vaccine rate at that point. Hopefully by that point, we're going to be fully open, and those people who maybe choose not to get the vaccine and need to stay home will have an option to do so.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I gathered from. I sat in on the Montalvo session earlier, and that's what I gathered from that as well. As it's everything's kind of up in the air right now.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Laura. I wanted just to say, Laura, welcome. I saw you joined as well, and I just wanted to say I don't have another presentation I'm going to give formally, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. So if you don't have any further questions, I would just say, again, connect with us on our social media sites, Facebook and on Instagram. And I will be I'll be posting there our tour video that I presented today. So you can watch that if you don't have a chance to do so yet. And I would welcome you to email or call the school if you ever have any follow-up questions.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So again, Caitlin or Laura, last chance, any questions you might have for me? Okay.
I don't think I have any questions about Poinsettia specifically, so it's just the other process.
Oh, then yeah, go ahead and ask me those questions. What you're wondering about the inter-district transfer process?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I don't.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so what would happen is that you would identify what school district you live in, so that we get people from all over, so it could be anywhere. But let's say let's just say you live in Santa Paula, and you found out, okay, we are a part of the Santa Paula School District. You would go to the district office in Santa Paula, and what you have to do is first you have to get released from them. So you would go, there's a form that you fill out and you request to be released. And then and then once that happens, there's a form for Ventura, and you get to choose the schools that you're interested in. So you would say my understanding is that you get to pick multiple schools. So you might say, I will go to any school in Ventura Unified that there's room at, but I'm interested in XYZ school. So for example, a school like Mound is going to fill 100% on schools of choice. Because it doesn't have a neighborhood boundary. So they basically, the number of slots that they have, they give in schools of choice. So that would not be on the table. There are many years when Poinsettia is not able to take inter-district transfers, but there are also years when we can. So you'll just have, that's kind of roll of the dice. And sometimes, honestly, I call families in August to offer them a spot. And sometimes after school has started, it's really hard on kids. I try not to do that. I try to make the space
Right.
a little bit more, but we always have neighborhood boundaries. We have neighborhood students that we are waiting to see if they arrive. And so if neighborhood kids arrive, I have to take them because that's the rule.
Right.
And so I'm always leaving a little bit of room for neighborhood students. And then if they don't show up, then I would be basically calling to offer that spot. But you may be offered a spot at another VUSD school, or potentially. And I would welcome you if you get a letter from the district that says, hey, I can give you a spot at Sarah School, that you would call me and say, hey, what's your enrollment like? I would like to wait to see if I can get into Poinsettia. I'm happy to answer that question for you at the time, because the closer we get to August, the more I know.
Right, exactly.
So and especially in this year, it's just the weirdest time. So
yeah.
Oftentimes I'll know if I think I might have a K1 combo because of where our kindergarten numbers are, but right now it's just impossible to even guess which kids will be returning. So, but I'm happy to, like I mentioned, if you aren't sure, let's say you don't want to necessarily start a kid in a VUSD school, maybe you want to wait until you can hear from us, you could call me and say, how long is that wait going to be? And I'm happy to answer that for you at that time.
Okay, great. And then do you have any idea how many schools they let you put down that you'd like your child to go to? And then do they normally try to go off that list?
I think,
or is it just kind of random?
I think that what will happen is they will let you mark, I'll go to any VUSD school, or I'm interested in, and then you fill it in. So I think you could list 10 schools if you wanted, or you could say, not XYZ school on that form. And we are Ventura Unified, because we're in declining enrollment. It's actually the whole county, every school district is this way. Because we're in declining enrollment, we're going to do our best to get you a school that you will come to. If it's not, if it's not your top number one, because that school happens to be full, they will call you and say, we do have room though at all these other schools. So they're going to give you a list of all the schools that do have room available to you. So you could definitely come to a school Unified, whether or not it's in your top 5 or not. That's remains to be seen. But what I believe is true is once you enroll at a school, you kind of we hope that you'll stay. Although I have had a child this year in kindergarten that started into a immersion and came to us just this month, so it's not impossible to switch once you enroll, especially because some kids join the 2A immersion program and find that that's not the right fit for them. So which makes sense if you've never tried it before. So it remains to be seen, but that happens sometimes. So it's not like once you pick one school, maybe Poinsettia is forever off the table. If you were to call me, let's say, in November, like, oh, things have changed. We know people, especially in these challenging economic times, people move. And so, fall break is often a time when we may be able to enroll more students, or winter break is a time we may be able to enroll more students as students choose those times to move sometimes. So.
Okay. Sorry, it's just the two of us. So I figured I could turn on my video now.
Sure.
Okay, so that's all very helpful for me, because I'm just, we live in Oxnard, and where my husband works in Ventura, I work in LA. So, and our caregivers are in Ventura. So we would just prefer her to go into Ventura somewhere. So, okay, so I need to physically go to the Rio School District, have them sign off on the paper, and then physically go to Ventura Unified.
My guess would be right now you probably can do that electronically or on the phone, because
I'll call Rio.
So yeah, I wouldn't go there without calling. Yeah, I'm probably right now they have an electronic process. Usually, yes, that's the answer. But right now, I guess they've found a way around it. And a lot of school districts will say we're not processing those yet. Our processing date is March 5th or March 15th, or they all pick a date. That is whatever the date that district chooses. And so the key is just to go right on that date because you want to be at the first of the line, because inter-district transfer is not a lottery. It's first come, first serve.
Okay. So I'll look up the first day that it's could be due and make sure that we turn it in that day then.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
So, okay. Awesome. I think that's a good start for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. They just
no problem.
They didn't get to it in the other session. So I know really appreciate you asking
the weeds
taking
there,
the time.
Yeah, and if you have follow-up questions, like I said, feel free to call Poinsettia or email me, which you can find on our website, my email. I'm happy to answer them for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.